Welcome to the Christian Contractor Podcast.
Christian Contractor Podcast.
A show created for kingdom-driven Christian contractors that are focused on scaling their business in God's name while positively impacting the world around them. If you're ready to ascend from a contractor to a purpose-driven business owner, we're here to serve you. Here's your host, Brandon Guthrie.
From a leap of faith to industry leader, the story behind Hail Trace. What's up? I'm Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs on the Christian Contractor Podcast, where it's our mission to help Christian contractors bring the passion and purpose back into their business and scale it in the name of God so that we can positively impact the world through the abundance we create together. Thanks for tuning in. I'm super excited to have Derik Klein with Hail Trace with me today. Derik, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, Brandon, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be a part of this. It's going to be a great little talk, I think.
Yes, sir. 100%. Everybody knows about Hail Trace unless you're living under a rock. So excited to have you and be able to bring value to the industry, because using the tool is one thing, but hearing from the brains behind it is a whole other level of value. So excited to hop into that. So before we hop into your story, let's go ahead and open up in a quick prayer.
Great.
All right. Dear Jesus, I pray that you be here with us today on this podcast, that you fill our hearts, you fill our minds. Thank you for my brother, Derik. And just thank you that you brought him here today, and that we're going to be bringing value to the listeners tuning in. I just pray that we be your hands and feet. Give us the words to speak. For the Christian contractors listening in right now, pray that remember to make the main thing the main thing. That if we're followers of Christ, that we are making that our number one purpose. That we would pray every day that your will for us, God, is to make you number one in our lives, to worship you, follow you, and do everything in your name. Pray that we will remember that as we dive into spreadsheets, crunch numbers, deal with team members, deal with challenges, deal with all the things that come with owning and running a business, that we would remember that none of that matters, that the only thing that really matters is glorifying God through every single situation, and that every single situation is an opportunity to do that. So it doesn't matter what actually happens. We can just watch it unfold, but the way that we approach it through an energy of having the Holy Spirit in us, that's what matters most. We love you, God, everything that you've done for us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen.
Bam. Okay. Awesome. So super excited. Appreciate you being here, man. Before we hop into the magic, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I'm the CEO and the founder of Hail Trace. Started the company back in 2010. And it was a pretty big leap of faith to start the company. I'd never owned a business before, wasn't really, I wasn't wealthy. So it wasn't like I had this stash of money that was setting aside. My wife worked at our church, which if you've ever worked at a church, you don't make a lot of money working at a church. We had 2 kids, at the time. And, I was young. I was 28, I believe. Still getting started with life. But I had a passion for weather, loved weather a lot. And had a contractor, roofing contractor, that came up and asked me if I could draw a map of a storm, and thought it was a really neat idea. I think I kind of had entrepreneurship in my blood. I think it's a gift maybe that God had given to me, as something that I wanted to do. Just hadn't pursued or found the right thing yet. And so kind of took that leap of faith at that moment and said, hey, I'm going to give this a shot. And drew the first Hell map, which was May 16th, 2010 in Oklahoma City. And then just kind of spent the next 2 years exploring it. We actually were in prayer with our pastor. He was actually the one, Miles Paludan, was our pastor at the time, at the church that my wife worked at. And he really pushed us to make that decision to go ahead and pursue the business and see what God had in store for us.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I remember that it was a big leap of faith for you. I'm sure there's a lot of us that are all at cross points, and I've heard someone say 100% faith, 0% doubt. Talk to us about what that leap of faith felt like for you and how did you overcome it?
Well, I would never say I'm 100% faith, 0% doubt. Maybe that's thankful I'm a Christian, so I get forgiven for all the times that I have doubted, and I'm probably going to do it again at some point in the next I don't know, couple hours, I would assume. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's you definitely have to remind yourself though, right? Like, this is His world, this is His plan. Um, you just have to pray. You have to, kind of take that direction that you feel like you're getting, and just take it one step at a time, right? Like, just do the best and trust Him with the rest. I love that that saying. I think it's really applicable of,
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of people, that it's like doing the best is not easy. It is a lot of work. But trusting Him with the rest is, a great example is like when you're a starting company, you're always, cash is always the toughest part of running a business, especially a young business. And when you're a severe weather business, the months of October, November, December, January, they don't produce a lot of severe weather. And my network was very small, so the sales funnel I had was also very small. And so it was very difficult to trust
Mm-hmm.
when you were literally, if I don't sell X dollars in the next week, I'm not going to be able to pay my mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then,
Wow.
year 2, year 3 is, I'm not going to be able to pay this employee that we have, if we don't sell this number. And so,
Mm.
and there are some crazy things that I'm like, there's no way that the success that I have had is on my own. We work. I mean, we were working so hard. Like I still remember, so this was 2017. So this is several years in, but we're still not operating as a software company. So our growth has been fairly gradual in 2017. And so every winter was always really tough,
Mm.
for us. So we would get to the winter, and I think we had like 4 employees at the time. And all the employees, I think almost every, there's maybe one. It was my brother-in-law doesn't work at Health Trace anymore, but most of the people were here working for Health. They're still working here to this day, and but it's the end of February. We still haven't had any storms, and we have the International Roofing Expo, which is our biggest trade show.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got to travel out, which we didn't buy plane tickets. It was in Las Vegas.
Mm.
So going from Oklahoma to Las Vegas, it's a 17-hour drive.
Woo.
We had our booth that we had to take out there that we had built, like it was a hand built booth. Like it wasn't like we didn't buy the booth. We didn't have the money to buy the booth. Didn't have the money for the plane tickets. We're staying at the Excalibur, I think. So, it was super nice resort in Las Vegas. I think it was like
Mm.
$39 a night per person. And I can tell you the whole time there. So on the way there, it's like February 26th or something. We're on our way out there, and I don't have money for payroll on March 1st. Like I don't have enough money. And by the way, I'm having to buy everybody's meals and this is a business travel expense. So I've got to pay for all this stuff. I know the IRE is going to charge me to move my booth in. And I'm like, I
Mm.
don't know where I'm going to get all this money.
Mm.
Like literally I'm going to run out of money on the way to the IRE.
Oh.
And so we're driving to the IRE, and I kid you not, like, we've been working so hard, but I'm like stressing big time,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Not trusting. So,
Hard, man.
but like, what can I do? I got to work harder. I got to work harder, right? Not trusting.
So
And,
hard.
on the way out there, Dallas gets golf ball size hail, which is our biggest market. And So it's not like a 5-star storm, but it's like a little 2 to 3-star. So it's a good starting storm. February 27th is the day they get this hailstorm. We're on our way out to the IRE, and we're like, and I'm like, okay, that gave me the money to be able to get to the IRE. I'm literally pulling over at gas stations taking sales. I'm the only sales guy at the time, or I had one other sales guy. So like I'm taking sales calls, right, and running credit cards in gas station parking lots,
Wow.
just to try to put money in the bank account. And so we get to Vegas. And I'm like, okay, I got a little bit of money. I still can't do payroll yet. I don't know if I can get us through the end of the trip yet. And then the next day, and this is the wildest thing, the most active hail day ever in the US for the month of February. In fact, this day was so active, there was more hail on this one day than any February in the history of the US combined. So you take all of the storms from February of every year previous to this, and this one day had more storms than all of those days. Like, just epic. We had two 5-star maps. So St. Louis got hit. I want to say Kansas City got hit. I think Dallas and Oklahoma had hail. Like, it was a massive, massive hail day. I don't remember all the details, but I know St. Louis was the big storm. And I mean, so we've got like a couple of people that aren't doing sales, and they're setting up the booth, trying all by themselves, because we can't help now. Like, it's like all hands on deck for sales. You guys set up the booth. We had one person that we didn't take. He had to, and so we hand draw all of our maps. So he's hand drawing all these maps, like way more than any one person can handle. And then we're just taking sales calls. Me and Zach are just like funneling as many sales calls as we can. And by the time we're done, it's like, oh, we got enough money for all of March payroll now. Like, it was like, boom, just like that. And it's like there's no, like, that stuff doesn't just happen. Like,
goodness.
Like the timing was God timing, right? It was like, it was this timing of like, you better have faith in me. I promise, like, I told you that I wanted you to do this, right? I told you that your passion, your love for weather was important to me, which is a whole nother story. But your passion, your love for weather was important to me. And just, you do your best and I'll handle the rest. And it was, and I would say it's been so much easier since then to go, you know what, I'm clearly, for whatever, like, undeserving. Like, I don't deserve to be blessed the way that I've been blessed. And he just keeps showing up. Just keep showing up, and it's like, I don't deserve this.
Wow. It's an opportunity for God to shine through, and that's a great example of having faith in that situation. And there's people going through something just like that right now, right? The people potentially listening to this podcast, and I think that's an encouraging word for them to have faith. And no matter what happens, whether it's a big hailstorm or not, God's going to open doors and close doors. And I heard someone say recently, it was something like, you can watch things unfold. You don't need to, do your best, which is, and then let God do the rest. You still need to do your part, right? The parable of the talents, right? Parable of the talents, where, right, we had the servant that buried the talents, multiplied the talents, and the ones that actually went to work and put their talents to work were blessed. So we need to do our part, but no matter what happens, God's going to either bless that, or maybe he's saving you from something. You think you want something. And just like when you have a kid, you learn so much about God when you have a kid, and you're like, yeah, I know you really want this, but I know better for you. You pick him up, like my son's 2. So sometimes I have to get in that situation where I have to pick him up and he's squirming and kicking. Like, no, I don't want to do this. And man, it's a picture of sometimes God's he's saving you from something, maybe. Right. And you can just enjoy, if we can have that perfect faith, then we can just enjoy the ride. And if a door closes, the door closes. And if a door opens, the door opens. That's Romans 5:3-5. It's I used to I had it memorized. I used to read it every morning when I got into the office, every single morning, because it's right. Consider an opportunity for great joy when troubles come your way, for troubles create. This is where I don't remember now. It's perseverance. Perseverance creates character. Character creates endurance. Endurance will complete your faith. And once your faith is fully developed and complete, you'll be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So you're telling me if my faith is developed enough, I could get to the point where I don't need anything. That's pretty cool. I want to get there. I'm not there. Like you're saying, it's still struggle with it's the flesh in us, right? Of like half flesh, half spirit. And we're struggling with, I don't know, my previous X amount of years where I maybe wasn't, a strong believer. And it's like I feel like I'm ripping that Velcro off every day of my old self, my old flesh, and dying to my cross and moving into who God's creating me to be. So it's like you're still struggling with that. But it's such a crazy picture to think that you could eventually get to the point where you're just like everything. You're just like, I'm good.
Yeah. I've had I have moments where I'm there, right? But which is funny because you're like, this is a great place to be, and then next, like I said, an hour later, my flesh gets in the way, life gets back in the way, and back to if I don't go work on this for the next 16 hours and kill myself and don't go home and I got to go away. No, it's not. I mean, again, just come in, do your best, and there. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're not going to have to work hard when you started. There are seasons where, you're going to work 60, 70 hours a week, like those seasons, but you have to put them into seasons and understand what season you're in, and make sure. And if you're single, then you can do that work as much as you want. But when you've got a family, you've got to pick and choose which season you're in. You can't stay in the I need to work and build my business season forever. Your family relies on you as well, and so it's not a one or done. And you see that a lot. I think it's really easy in the roofing industry to get stuck in that. You got the hustle and the grind and the savage, right? Like you see all those things. They're the really common things, and not to say that those aren't good characteristics to have. But in moderation, right? Like I always say everything can be a sin.
Mm-hmm.
Everything can, right? But everything can also be good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I shouldn't say everything, but a lot of the things that we deal with are good, right? Social media, like there's some good things that come from social media. But if I'm on it all day long and looking at things that I shouldn't be looking at, and like, it can be a bad thing as well. And that's anything in life, right? Like work, like Helltrace, it can be a good thing. It's provided for my family way more than we ever deserve. It's provided for families that work from, like some of the story, like I get to see people have kids. I get to see that, people that have bought their first house, that have bought their first car. It's their first like real job. Just so many cool stories that you get to be a part of. I've married 2 of my employees. Weddings, engagements, like and I call them employees. They're clearly not employee. Like, you don't marry an employee. You marry someone. Like when someone asks you to marry them, they're obviously a special person.
Yeah.
And I say that they are a special person to me. Like I wouldn't just do someone's wedding just because. And so like Helltrace is a great thing, but it's not always a great thing, right? Like I can overcommit, I can overwork, I can make the wrong choices, and other people can do the same thing as well within the company. And so it can be used for evil as well.
So true. This is great. So, for Christian contractors listening in right now, there's tons of value already just in the story alone. Now I want to shift over to, obviously God has played a big part in Derik's journey, and that's a beautiful thing, and so much to take away just from that. Now I want to shift over to a little bit of tactical for our listeners. Talk to us about how HailTrace can help them, and what. First question is how does HailTrace work? How can it benefit them? And second question is, what is HailTrace excited about into the future?
Absolutely. So, the way that we look at it is in any given year, there's about 5 million roofs that are going to get done in the US. And that number is obviously it's going to gradually go up consistently over time. But about 20% of those roofs are new builds. And that's outside of our market and what we work on. But that means there are 4 million other roofs that those roofs are done because they're a replacement of an existing roof, which is 80% of the market. From what we've seen in our data, and some people may disagree with me on this, but I promise you the data, we can back this data up. About 75% of those 4 million roofs, maybe a little bit more than 75%, are replaced because of storm. There has been a storm that has caused damage to that roof. Now, I'm not saying the storm was this year. I'm not saying the storm was last year. It might have been 15 years ago. But at some point, that roof was damaged by a storm. It may have gradually gotten worse and worse over time, and then gotten to a point that it had to be replaced. So in many cases, and usually about half of those damaged roofs are done via retail, and the other half are done via insurance claim. And then again, that number goes up and down based off of, last year, probably less insurance, more retail because it wasn't a great storm season. But other years you have a really big storm season, that insurance claim number is going to go up. The shares are going to go up off of that. And so, but at the end of the day, 75% of those roofs are storm based, and we know where all the storms were. So whether you're doing retail or you're doing insurance, we can show you where those storms have occurred at to help you get into the right markets. And so strategically, that's what we do best. And we use meteorologists to do it. We are the only one that uses meteorologists to do it. There is no perfect solution. But we like to say, if you're going to work over the next 10 years, you're going to work, let's say 20 storms. I'm going to be the most accurate on 15 of them, and I might miss 5 of them, or maybe it's 12 and 8. But I'm going to win the game more times than I'm going to lose the game because we have those meteorologists that can really dive in and explore different things like ground truth. And so that's really what set us apart when it comes to what we do and how we help contractors.
And okay. And so that's super crucial for Christian contractors listening in right now. We need to make sure we have accurate data on those hailstorms so we can know where we're going. And so talk to me about how can having the most accurate data be beneficial? I think it's probably going to be around the lines of knowing where to go, right? But what's super crucial about making sure to have accurate data?
Well, so it comes in a couple of different waves. Some of them are really early on in the storm process, and then some of them are a little bit further down the road in the storm process. So the first one is just knowing where to go, right? That's probably the most crucial. Is that, look, if you're in the wrong neighborhood, you're looking at roofs that don't have damage to them, and you're not selling. So it's an opportunity cost. But we can dive into the ramifications outside of opportunity, right? If I send you a map and it shows 5,000 properties impacted with hail, and you say I'm going to send a mailer to those 5,000 properties, a couple dollars a piece, right? That's $10,000 that you just spent on marketing. If those 5,000 homes didn't get hit, that's a waste of dollars, right? Waste of marketing dollars. Same thing, we can track your customers. If I send you to the wrong customers, you get up on the roofs of the wrong customers, well, you're spending time on someone's roof that you shouldn't, which means there's someone's roof that you should be. I always say a minute with the wrong person is a minute you stole from the right person. And it's the same thing here. So if you're on this roof and it wasn't hit, and you should have been on the roof that was hit, and that's your customer, that's a missed sale. That's a missed opportunity, right? In time, but also you're giving your competition time to get there first. So that can also hurt. And then on the back end, if you're going to file an insurance claim, you need to have accurate data to go with that data loss. And you need to know why you have the most accurate data. I talk to contractors all the time that go, hey, the insurance company sent me this report and it says it didn't hail on this property. And I go, okay, do you know why it says it didn't hail? Or why are you making the assumption that that one's wrong? And they go, well, because the insurance company sent it to me. And I was like, well, that doesn't tell you that it's right or wrong. I see all the time. I mean, I get reports from insurance carriers that are right. Happens all the time. Like, can you tell me why is it right or wrong? I'm like, well, I don't know. I'm not a weather expert. And I go, that's the key, right? So a lot of the competition that's out there are software companies. They're building this weather data. They don't know. It's just they're providing a solution from National Weather Service data that's just generic and easy to grab. But they don't know why it's right or why it's wrong. Well, I've got a team of 19 meteorologists that can tell you, yes, that's right or wrong. And so we can stand behind the solution that we give you, which can be helpful when negotiating maybe a conflict that you might have with the opposite side. Well, to us, it doesn't matter if it's the carrier or the roofer. So, for us, it's did it hail or did it not?
Wow. And how can people get started with Hail Trace?
Yeah, so it's real simple. You can go to hailtrace.com. So we've got spots where you can sign up to get a demo if you want to see exactly how to use it. There's even a little chat bot that you can talk to. You can also call us 855-334-HAIL 4245. Another way to reach out to us. So some real easy ways for you to get a hold of us. We're also very active on social media, especially Facebook, I feel like, where a lot of contractors are. We do a daily forecast as well. So great example today. Well, I don't know if this will be today when the podcast is launched, but there's a threat of hail near Chicago today. So we'll be doing a live forecast to talk about that threat. And we do that every day at noon, anytime there's a threat of severe weather. So it's a great resource to kind of get an idea of what might be coming in your own backyard and to give you some heads up and some time to prepare.
Wow. And is that live forecast? It's on Facebook?
It's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Maybe I think we do it on TikTok. I think that's one. I don't have TikTok, but Hail Trace does. So kind of all over all YouTube. It's on YouTube. So all the social medias.
Very cool. So it's like multi-platform live streaming. So people can access it from multiple locations wherever you consume content. So wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. So for Christian contractors tuning in right now, obviously, Hail Trace is going to be your most accurate source, especially with 19 meteorologists on their team and knowing why things are happening. And they're not just a software company putting some generic solutions together. I highly recommend checking them out. And my final question for today is, what gets Hail Trace excited for the future?
And so we are really excited about taking the accuracy that we produce to the next level. So we've got several meteorologists on our team that are experts in radar analysis. So we've got a guy that's flown in the hurricane hunters around tornadoes with radar. We've got some really, really, really smart scientists on the team right now. And we're really trying to explore what makes this golf ball size hailstorm not damaging and this golf ball size hailstorm damaging. And can we break that down with radar data to provide the solution? So now, instead of saying there was golf ball size hail, this area is more likely to have damage than this area. And we think that's the ultimate answer the contractor and the insurance carriers want to know from us is, look, it's great that there was golf ball size hail, but was there damage or was there not? And then once you do that, then it goes back to kind of breaking into more of a lead model with the business. So now it's, look, I want to look at roofs that have damage, but I want them to have an income of $300,000 a year. I want them to have a home that's worth more than $250,000. I want them, and so you can start to put in some demographics, and then you can say, show me the list of those people. And now you have a really, really nice targeted, what we would call your ideal client profile, right? That you can now hone that in and really target those people to make you more successful, quicker, and obviously just more effective with your time.
Wow. So once again, everybody tune in, check them out, hailtrace.com. You're going to want to connect with them because they are the premier Hail Trace software. So check them out, guys. So awesome. Derik, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. And for the Christian contractors tuning in, thank you so much for tuning into the Christian Contractor Podcast. I'm Brandon Guthrie with Dream Design Labs. If you're a Christian contractor that wants to grow your business in God's name, learn how we do just that at go.dreamdesignlabs.com/apply. Check it out. It's free, and I guarantee you'll get great value from the content. Remember, marketing doesn't have to be hard. All you need is the right tools and the right heart to serve. Till next time, stay blessed. Derik, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you on again because you said there was a couple of things that you mentioned that it would be a whole other story. So we're going to have you back.
That sounds like fun.
Awesome, man. Thank you.